Flash here, coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. I am not alone. I am joined by Hell Hades. It's been a hot minute since we collab, man. How you doing, Hades?
I'm doing really well, man. Yeah, I was been eager to do a collab when you reached out, and I was like, yes, let's book it in.
Yeah, it can be tough, man. We both got a lot going on, but so does our audiences too. So we thought we'd get together, talk some just champions in general, our favorites, our personal favorites, or the best in every rarity, in every faction. Now, we've already recorded the first 8 factions in the game, and we're going to release that on your video, or your channel rather. I'll have that video for people in the comments below. Hades, before we jump into it, like how is your raid love right now on a scale from 1 to 10? Like, where are you at right now?
I'd say I'm kind of like a 7, I think. I'm enjoying some of the new content. I'm actually enjoying getting stuck into Siege, and I'm enjoying trying to pump some like Hydra points and damage. So yeah, for me, that's like a real challenge, but I'll be honest, I've got tons going on as well.
Yeah,
so, yeah. How about you, man?
I am, we're shout out to Devil Wishes. They're smoking us right now in Siege. Womp womp.
Are they?
Am I just being ignored?
Yeah, I'm actually enjoying the game a lot, man. I don't know. I was saying this on a video like recently, is like, I think the fact that I have to create a video every day like makes me enjoy the game more, because I never have time off from, like, it's not like I can get distracted by other things in life. Like, I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? So part of that feels like a bit of a chore, but at the same time, I'm like really into the game, man. Like, I'm probably a solid 8, maybe a 9, because I'm at that. I'm sure we've all been there before, but I'm like really into Hydra team optimization right now, you know?
Right.
Like, I feel like I'm bringing my clan down a little bit, meaning that, like, I feel like I can put up better scores than I am right now.
It's okay.
So I'm trying to like get in there and min-max them. So that's really keeping me occupied. So yeah, I'm like probably an 8 or a 9. That being said though, man, I love PvP. Like, I'm a PvP player, but I still hate like, I love Live Arena, but I hate Live Arena, like the way it is in the game right now.
I struggle with Live Arena because if I have a few days where I just can't get to Live Arena, like the time that it pops is just not good for me. It gets into my head that I've lost points, and it's almost like I'm trying to make it back up again.
Right.
So, yeah,
and it takes so long to progress, and it's like, yeah, I'll be here all year, man, trying to, you know, plus it's just an interesting game mode where it does require your full attention. You can't do anything, you know?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Which I like. But to your point, they need resets. They need more interesting rules, formats, leaderboard, like all.
You have a problem with me?
Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. All right, man. Let's go in and take or pick up where we left off on your channel. And again, you might want to watch that video first, or at least after this one. I guess order doesn't really matter that much, but you're gonna miss all those awesome choices from the first 8 factions. But we're going into Demon Spawn. Hades, you are the guest, so you get to choose first. First of all, okay, this is a bonus. Do you have, I just want to know if you have any of the mythicals on each faction that we talk about. Do you have Carnage?
Oh, okay. I don't have either of these right now. So I'm
okay,
closing in on Carnage.
Okay.
But yeah, don't have them quite yet.
Okay, I have Carnage, and he was a little bit of a letdown to me.
Oh, really?
I know people are going to hate on me for saying that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know. I just need to give him a better shot, though. I haven't said anything publicly up until right this very second, because I wanted to give him like longer play testing, but I was a little bit let down. Anyway, Demon Lord Legendaries, who you got, man?
Yeah, so I'm gonna pick Prince Kaimar, actually. So
okay, all right.
Kaimar was my first legendary that I ever pulled.
And you never forget your first, do you, Hades?
So yeah, man, so nostalgia there, and like looks super sweet.
Why are you smiling?
Plus, I still use him a ton.
Yeah.
So you know, my reset champion basically also got that full, you know, cleanse of buffs and a sleep on the A2, all AOE hits. Just such a good universal sort of champion, able to be used in basically any content. So yeah, Kaimar's a real fun.
Oh, this is interesting, man. I mean, how the mighty have fallen, because I feel like 2 years ago, like, if you don't go Duchess, you're crazy, you know?
Yeah, Duchess has got to be up there, but yeah.
But you know, there's some competition in the world of Duchess. You know, there's Star Sages of the world, and there's Glaciads of the world. But Kaimar still, yeah, I guess he has a little competition too. I guess I'll be cute and I'll go Duchess. But I think you bring up very compelling points on Kaimar, man, because like having that reset and that arena lead for you basically for all your progression. and help anywhere else is hard to pass up on. But Duchess has, one of the best revives in the game, can be my perfect Veil option. I'll use her everywhere, arena included. So I'll go Duchess, but it's close. All right, Demon Spawn, Epic, who are you going to go with?
I think for Epic, there's a couple here which I really like, actually.
Okay.
I'm going to go a little bit left field because it's probably my favorite Epic that I just love to try and get into content, and that is Achak.
Ooh,
and,
okay, I was guessing, but I guessed wrong. I guessed Umbral.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay. And that would have not even been my top 3, actually. So
unbelievable. Okay.
Yeah. So Achak for me.
Achak.
He'll never let me finish a sentence.
Yeah, we freeze. And bring in a burner combined with the passive is what I think is really cool. So, being able to get the healing going, the turn meter fill going, whilst your team are basically doing all the work. And then obviously that block debuffs and strengthen on the A2 is really solid as well. I just think underrated as an Epic for all of the stuff that he's got going on, especially when burns are so important in content in general. Also playing around with this guy in the new event dungeon, because that AoE freeze there when you bring a burner as well, that's a good way of getting your damage away. So really fun Epic.
No, I agree. There's something really satisfying about watching him and a Mordecai or whatever duo, and just see that twisted hunger go brrr, the passive is just spamming.
Yeah.
So I agree. It's a cool pick. I'd go Magnar, man. I'd go Magnar. Okay, yeah. I like the big fella. I think he's the best AoE nuker, and I don't even think is that close maybe out of every Epic. As I said in your video, my favorite Epic nuker is Fenax, but not AoE necessarily. It's all because of his A1. So I would go Magnar. He's a little one-dimensional, I would say, but
great damage, but
that
nice
one
damage,
dimension is amazing. Yeah.
Skimfloss was the other one that I was thinking about.
I thought you might go there too. I remember you were a big fan of him, right?
Yeah, he's really
stealing
good.
100% turn meter on a 3-turn cooldown is pretty sick.
Yeah.
All right. Demon Spawn, Rares, who are you going to go with?
Yeah, so I think the easy pickup here is probably Fellhound.
Yeah.
A lot of damage on the A1, really fast campaign farmer. The ability to put block damage on your on your lead if you need it. The reflect damage as well, you might use it for something like Fire Knight, but really it's all about just smacking people with the A1 over and over again.
Yeah, it's hard to argue against starting this game with the best campaign farmer just locked and loaded on your account. I guess I might go Fellhound too, but I like Abyssal a lot. I didn't invest in him right away when he's introduced to the game, but I think I would wait for a Spirit Affinity Secret Room or whatever, rare only. But when I did, I was like, this guy's pretty damn solid, man. He's got the 30% block buffs on the AoE on the A1, great for a stun set. He's got the increased defense, the increased attack. It's the weak version, which always kind of throws you off, but on limited content or rare only content, that can be really helpful. Then he has a nice heal on his A2. But it's hard to argue Fellhound ultimately,
Yeah, nice.
All right, Undead Horde time. I'm gonna go with. Well, I'm not gonna mess around here. I'm gonna go with Siphi, the Lost Bride. Siphi's just still the GOAT, man. She's still the GOAT.
So good. Yeah.
She's just. I mean, every one of her abilities I could sit here and talk about for a while, how it's a little bit better than you might think or whatever, just the sleep on the A1 is one of the best control abilities in all of PvP, but also all of PvE because you could use her as Sand Devil. You've got that great A2 with the turn meter fill on top of the 3 essential buffs that she brings to the table, all for 2 turns. And then the 100% turn meter single target revival with the chance of the cleanse and the heal on the passive from one of the fastest champions in the game, one of the tankier champions in the game. She just really has it all. She's what you want out of a support reviver in this game. And when she was released back in the day and still to this day, even after her nerf. So she'd still be my first choice.
Yeah, I think she's definitely my most used legendary out of this group. I think probably the other one I would pick is just Rotus.
Getting in the groom.
Yeah, it's just so, even after his nerf, he's still really strong. So, the A3 being able to take someone out and then going again is really valuable. The A2 just stacking up his max HP to make him incredibly tanky and hard to kill. But then the passive is just so good, forcing people to come at him with a double hit. Otherwise, you're probably going to lose a couple of your team. It's just so strong. So, Yeah. Man,
So would you
Rotus-
go Sify or would you go Rotos?
I think if I had to pick out the two, I probably would pick Sify, but
Yep. But Rotos is
yeah,
strong contention for you.
yeah. Like, he's in the conversation at least.
I got you, man. Yeah, I like Rotos, but for me, it's Sify. Sify's my girl.
Just think of a bag of crap.
But I will say, like, it's crazy to say, but somewhere in the conversation, I wouldn't choose him. But UDK, man, like,
Also, Netcrit, honestly, Netcrit is really annoying.
UDK more than Necret. Isn't that crazy? Am I crazy?
Yeah, I probably do. So I probably do now.
Yeah.
Since Narcissus came in, but
yeah.
That's the difference. Necrit before Narcissus, Necrit was in like any of my arena defense.
Yeah,
teams.
back in the day, Necrit in the bolster or whatever, or Stone Skin was annoying. All right, yeah, there's a lot of good Undead Horde, to be fair. I love Valken, one of my favorite nukers in the game too, man. That guy's so much fun.
Okay,
yeah,
don't have him actually. But,
he's got to be one of the most underrated nukers out there, but like he's tough to get. I see why people don't talk about him. Like he's never had an event, I don't think, around him or anything like that. He's crazy. Right. Anyway, I digress. Epic time. Did I pick first? I picked first.
You'll pick.
I'll go with dang, this is also a very tough one.
It is tough.
I think I'm actually gonna go with Seeker. But I was all over the place, man. I could have went with anybody. There's like 6 great choices here.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think the Seeker is still probably the most unique out of everybody, right? He's got the passive that can be useful anywhere, basically the increased defense on all allies for 2 turns when he's hit with a crit. But really with that turn meter boost being the best in the game, because of the extra turn, he gets it on a 2-turn cooldown, 30% turn meter fill. That's great in long battles. It really adds up, like it snowballs quickly. All the extra turns you're able to get from that boost, but also in the arena, just one of the best setups, like in the early game, and a really solid provoke shot on his A1 ability. Right, it's a 50%. It works on both hits, so you could even use him in a pinch in as a backup Hydra provoker or something.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, he's probably up there for me. I think there's a couple more in the conversation. I think Vogoth is the one I would actually go with. Like, if I got Vogoth early on a new account, then he's such a massive tank in terms of like progression. He's got the AoE provoke on the A2, which is a solid chance to land for an epic. I think we were talking about on my video, like you picked Skaramis, who has got a really good AoE provoke. Vogoth's not quite there, but he's not far off it as a control champ for waves. And then obviously a triple hit on the A1, which helps you with stuff like Fire Knight. But really, it's his passives. Like his passives are so good. When he's attacked, as long as you build him like high HP and not too high defense, he's basically going to be pushing all of your team's healing through. And put him in a regen set or something like that, and he's just able to maintain healing for your whole team in certain situations. So Vogoth I think is really, really interesting as a kit.
I was going right back and forth with Vogoth and the Seeker for all those reasons. I 100% agree. Like, there's so many. Like, I could see people choosing Husk, Mausoleum Mage. Yeah. I mean, there's a few others too that are really solid. I love Dark Elhain, but I'm gonna get her anyway for free. So we'll go on to the rares here. I will go with, there's not many good ones here, huh? Banshee's campaign farmable and has 2 AoEs, which is good for a stun set, but I think I'd probably just go with Doomscreech. Keep it simple, get that nice juicy 30% turn meter fill with the big version of increased defense on a 3-turn cooldown. You can't get that from any other rare other than marked, so I'll take it.
Yeah. I actually would go with Seducer here.
Okay.
I wouldn't take him to 60, but as a level 50, a 2-turn block debuff for a rare is extremely rare to find. Obviously putting increased defense up as well. And he's got the weak version AoE decrease attack. He has got me through some tough spots in, when I used to do a lot of takeovers, he was able to get me through things like Spider 20 for people because of the block debuffs, or Faction Wars if you're struggling to get through the bosses. The block debuffs is just so strong. So, for a level 50 dude, can really get you out of a problem. Yeah.
Good call out there. All right, going to Dark Elves. You're up first here. Did you have the Calamitous?
The
Undead Horde mythical?
No.
Okay. Do you have Asphodus?
I do have the bug, yeah.
What do you think about him?
It's okay. Like,
yeah.
He did more than I thought he was going to do in like a Hydra hit, but
yep.
Needs a buff. His second form's terrible. So, yeah, basically it's a 1/4 mythical, which means he's just a legendary. And it's not a great legendary at that point.
I like that. So, I actually like the second form a little bit with the AoE stun and the AoE provoke. It's just a matter of like, you know, where does he excel, right? And it's just like, where are you using that?
He's definitely not bad.
Yeah, I was a bit underwhelmed with the damage though overall. Anyway, we're not here to talk about mythicals. Ash, pick your legendary, Hades.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the two which are free to get eventually, like Lydia and Mithrala, they're like the best. Really good, like incredibly good. So they would definitely be in the chat for me. But I think if I was going away from that, damn, Visic's in there as well. Actually, it's another free one.
I know. I was just gonna say that the three freebies right there are probably the best of the faction.
Yeah, but I guess the one I use the most outside of those would be Xavier. So I still use a Poison Exploder team for Dragon, hard 10.
Nice.
And
there you go.
You know, she's coming in basically her with my team was actually very whale heavy with 2 Calvalaxes and
nice.
Theodore, and then her and an Elenaro. So I've got both of them basically exploding the poisons that go out.
Okay, the double explosion, double Calvalax. I like that. That's a cool strategy.
Go! Let's go freaking get here!
So very fun and able to still sort of use her for, you know, late game content, which is cool.
All right. I think like this is probably getting a bit too cheeky for you here, Hades, but I think I would just cheat and go Lydia, even though I know I'm going to get her for free.
Okay.
I'll just be like, she's that good that I just don't want to wait to get her. I'll get her right now and not have to worry about it. Like, and I'll use her everywhere. But other than that withstanding, I think I'd probably go. It's weird. I feel like there's a big drop off, frankly, between like Visix, Mithrala, Lydia, and then the next batch. But
it does show actually the freebies are really good, right?
Yeah. I mean, I love ally attackers, so I'll go Lanicus maybe, you know. I like Lanicus because she's still quite unique, you know. She's fast, 108 speed. She got the increased duration of buffs on her ally attack, which is really cool. Then she has a chance of getting an extra turn as well. So Lanicus is pretty cool.
Did you get Blade Master just out of interest?
I did not get Fatalis, the only Blade Master I don't have, and I have gone against him enough to know that he actually can pack a punch, even though that's the number one complaint too, is that he doesn't deal enough damage.
Doesn't hit hard enough, yeah.
But I think if he gets a buff, like the overwhelming feedback I've heard is a little buff would go a long way on Fatalis. Do you have him?
Yeah, I don't have him, no.
Okay.
I guess they probably won't touch him because no one can get him again, unless they do the new event with all of them back. But yeah, it's probably like forgotten content, honestly.
Yeah. Okay, so epic time.
Yeah, you know what? It's probably going to be a little bit 2019 or whatever, or maybe 2020, but I still really like Madame.
Okay. You can't go wrong, man.
Yeah, you know, I know she's kind of like fallen off the shelf nowadays, but I still think the AoE decrease attack and defense with that full buff cleanse is really strong. As long as she's not running against polymorphs, it's still one of the best mechanics in the game for, you know, someone coming up with epics, especially in arena type scenarios or like, you know, dungeon waves of enemies. And then the ability to try and still bust as well in the A2 with another AoE. I just think her kit is still really strong. So
yeah,
she's probably my favorite out of the group.
Yeah, I mean, if she was on my account, she would definitely be my arena debuffer, like in the early game. There's no doubt about that, you know. I don't know. I would go Dark Hail, but you get Dark Hail, like, you know, at some point. So maybe I would go with maybe I'd go Sylar just to be a little bit different, you know, with the 2 AoEs. Great for spider progression, you know, which is going to be an important dungeon to focus on. Getting the decreased speed with that turn meter on the A3, plus the 2 AoEs, just like a really good overall control champion. Can deal a little bit of damage too. So
yeah, definitely.
It's rare time. Should we just skip this? Is it that obvious, or do you want to go?
It kind of is, but I would say this faction,
it
has a lot.
It does.
Probably the best faction by a long way for rares. Because you got the obvious choice, which I'll leave for you. But I'm going to say Painkeeper. Like, I use Painkeeper a ton.
Yeah.
Still. you know, in terms of just that reset ability. When you've got double Painkeepers going, it just forms a bunch of teams, you know. It's a way to get your unkillable teams back. It's a way to get Plunder smacking over and over again. And yeah, I just think Painkeeper is still really useful if you don't have like the Yumikos and you know, the Shuzens and those type of champs.
Indeed. Yeah, no. And she has like a really solid heal. It's based on, you know, her max HP, which can scale pretty well as well. So, yeah, Painkeeper is really, really solid. Yeah, I would go, I mean, Cold Heart, I would just go just because she's still the best, I think, rare in the game. She still has just that absurdly broken Heartseeker ability, and that's what it all comes down to, you know? And, I mean, stealing... Yeah, go.
I was going to say, would you say Cold Heart's the champion that you think you've done most videos about?
Overall, in my entire... Nah, I've milked some of those freebies pretty hard. Some of like the Sun Wukong did it again.
Okay,
you know?
yeah.
I'm trying to think of, but maybe though. In the first like 2 or 3 years uploading, I did an updated guide every year on the most popular rares like Kale or whatever. So she's probably in contention. What about you? Who have you made the most videos on?
Probably in terms of single champs.
Yep.
She's got to be up there. I mean, I did a lot for Ultimate Death Knight, in fairness. Like some of those freebies where they actually could do tons of stuff.
Yeah.
I did a lot.
UDK,
I feel like Cold Heart.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm struggling for content, it's like, well, I could do a Cold Heart video. Not done one in about 2 years.
Yeah. Up until a few years ago, there was definitely, but now I feel like even Cold Heart has been like a bit crept, you know, like only because they've instituted like restrictions around enemy max HP champions anyway, you know, so like, and things have evolved a bit, especially in hard dungeons and areas like that, but she's still the best rare out there. I mean, you add the quad hitter on the A1, making her one of the best Fire Knight champions in the game, you know. It's hard to get away from that.
She's still I agree.
Must max for every account. Yeah. All right. Knights Revenant time. This is me first.
Yeah, your pick.
Okay. This is a tough one. Do you have Alatreon Blade Master?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay, he wouldn't be my pick, but he's really good.
Yeah, he's very good.
All right, dude, this is a tough one, man. I'm between. Well, I don't even want to say it. There's 4 champions that I am between right now, and I'm gonna just go with one. I'm gonna go with. I guess I'm going to go with Theodore. I feel like he feels like the safe pick, right? Because he's got a little bit of Calvalax vibes. Yeah. He's got, you know, but he's just more dependable because he's bringing the poisons and activating the poisons and the burns, more AoEs, very tanky, brings increased speed. So I go Theodore. I know he's going to immediately help me. And he doesn't require other pieces to the puzzle. Like, he's better with other pieces to the puzzle, but doesn't require, unlike some of these others, like activators to go alongside him. So I'll go Theodore. But
yeah,
it's
I think
close.
it's a cool pick. It's a cool pick. It's definitely one of the ones I use the most on my account out of this faction.
Yep.
Now, this is tough for me. So I've got like a most wanted here, but also one of my most used, and they do the same job. So
okay.
I'm going to go with my most wanted, that is Georgid.
Okay.
Just because, like, firstly, he looks really freaking cool. But
he does look cool, yeah.
Look what I can do.
There's not many champs in the game that can ignore Stone Skin and then back it up with another turn and then come in with a massive AoE. And I just think Stone Skin's so popular in the game right now that having a Georgid just gives you that extra option, especially with the fact that he's ignoring defense potentially. And yeah, just think he's a fun nuker. Got the A1 that can repeat, which is fun as well, just in case it like pops off. So yeah, I just think he's one of those ones. Maybe it's one of those, I don't have him, therefore I think he's even better than he is. But
no, man. I mean, I have him and I don't use him a ton. I know people will cringe about that, but you know what it is. You know, like you just kind of develop your go-to nukers, and once you've been playing for a long time, you just kind of have your stable of go-tos. So it's really not a shot at Georgid at all. But that all being said, he's a beast for all the reasons, but I still think I would go Narcissus over him personally.
So Narcissus is the one I've got that I use a ton. So he was like, my other go-to.
I think the Narcissus is just insane, you know, like even better than Jirigid. But again, I'm like splitting hairs here. They're both insane. You know, they're both really good. But even White Queen and Korra is so good, man.
Really good.
Yeah. So you would go with, okay, so George, I got you. Okay. Epic time. Oof. You can't go wrong with half these epics, man. There's some real good ones here. I guess I'm just gonna go personal fave on this one, and I'm gonna go with Miscreated Monster, man. I'm taking it back to the Madame Ceres update that you harken back to. Frank, man, he's in my intro anyway, so I have there's a little bit of a soft spot in my heart, man. But he just got he's tanky, he's got control, he's got support, he's got stuns on the A1 and the A2 and the big shield. He's just a great support champion. He's still to this day,
I will say, on the free-to-play series this year, when people picked Miscreated Monster, so that people had the choice of Miscreated Monster or Deacon or Allure. There was a few different epics you could pick.
Okay.
Miscreated Monster accounts progressed fast.
Really?
It was such a carry. Yeah.
It's not a shock, man. That A2 alone is to get the stun and that big shield. It's just
Yeah, I was surprised just by how much of a difference it made when people picked him. So that was interesting to see. But
that's a good insight there. Yeah, who do you go with?
I think I was surprised by it. I thought Deacon's the obvious one, but actually it wasn't the Deacon accounts that progressed the quickest.
Interesting.
So for me though, this is tough because I've kind of been converted into the Church of Whisper.
I guess this is right this time on the background.
Which I didn't expect to be, but just the sheer damage output of Whisper when she gets going is kind of nuts. She does need a bit of setup, but the extra turns that can sneak in and the kind of the sheer damage numbers are insane. So for an epic, she really punches hard because she's able to ignore defense as well. Just ignoring defense in this game is such a big mechanic that she can come in and just one-shot really hard opponents or do crazy damage on bosses once you get it to 100% ignore.
Yeah, no, I also am a recent convert. You can't argue with that damage, man. It's legendary,
But
I mean, there's a lot of good ones here. Rector Drath, obviously, I really love. Skull Crown was in contention. Doom Priest, and
Talisia's good as well.
Yeah,
there's a few good ones there.
All right, rare time though. I'm gonna go with. There's actually a few that I quite like here. I like Turok. Well, I'm not going to name any. I'm just going to go with Executioner. He's an old school dude, but I love Executioner, man. I think that he's got that stun on the A1, decent shot at landing, but just I love turn meter manipulation and I love decreased speed. And he's got it both on a 3-turn cooldown from a pretty tanky champion who his damage actually, even though it scales awkwardly off of attack, I've never really noticed any damage penalty. I just build him with defense and he deals decent damage as well. And then he brings the counterattack to lead to more stuns on his A1. So a fairly simple kit, but I love him in any rare only content because he just controls so well,
Yeah. He was actually everyone's go-to. Build him first when I started playing this game.
Okay.
This is the guy to build out. And
back in the day, man.
I don't know if they nerfed him or changed him in any way, but definitely he was always. When I first saw content, it was Executioner's broken. He's so good. So
one
interesting. I didn't expect you to call him out, but but he is solid. Yeah. I think for me, maybe I got a bit of a theme here because I love reset champions.
Renegade,
Renegade,
right?
Renegade's the one I'm going to pick out.
Yeah.
Again, still use her a lot. The ability on the A3 to reduce the cooldown. The triple hit on the A2 made her really good for Finite as well, with the right type of setup and that decreased speed. And then bringing the heal reduction as well makes it even more valuable for Finite stuff. So I just think Renegade is hard to ignore.
Is it because of my eyes?
But I would say Coffin Smasher, really good. Guardian and Gladiator, both very good for faction wars. Wouldn't take them to 60 or whatever, but actually good at controlling waves. So there's a few good ones here.
Yeah, man. Who else do I like? I like Turox. Longsword Turox. He's a defense base. He's pretty. I was gonna say pretty tanky, but good defense at least. But he's got an AoE provoke, and he's got an increased defense on all allies. Weak version, but still pretty good for a 3-turn cooldown. Anyway, let's go on to dwarves, and you are gonna be up first. Actually, do you have Crixia?
I do not. No.
All right.
No.
Do you have the dwarf?
That's one that I would like. I do have the dwarf, Frolny. Yeah.
Do you like him?
He's decent. He's decent. He comes into a bunch of like Cursed City waves for me.
Okay. All right.
And I've seen him actually in Siege wreck some of my teams.
Okay.
So I probably need to rethink how I'm building him out, because he's definitely
I see him a little bit in the
PvP
arena. He
stuff
never really.
going on.
I'm not. I hope this doesn't sound like a jerk thing to say, but he never really scares me though when I see him. I'm like,
I
okay,
thought that as well, and then I was like, oh, okay, I'm doing
then he
fine in
wrecked-
this fight, and then all of a sudden he just wrecked my team. I
Then
was
you
like, hold on a
developed a little
minute.
appreciation for the guy, the little fella.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
legendary time. This is like one of the most stacked.
This faction's impossible, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you could pick 4 easily, and anyone's fine. I guess for me, man, I think it's got to be a Crizia as the best one, but I don't know. It could easily be any of the others. A Crizia, just max HP hits everywhere. That's it.
Wow.
And like
this
Terminator
guy-
control, and it's just impossible for her to not be in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, cannot argue with every ability has enemy max HP, but I will still go Newt, man. I'm a Newt guy. Even with Trunda, like breaking the game if you have her with Hydra. Just this Blessed Bash, man. This new. It's not just the Blessed Bash. Like, sure, as A2 is fine, but it's just that A1 and the A3.
Well, yeah.
It's just like all the control you can get, like when, you know, whether it's Fire Knight normal or Fire Knight hard or Dark Fae or like any boss in the damn game, you're going to come at it with Blessed Bash and just be like, yep, bye. Newt was just like...
How many Newts do you have built out?
I have 2 Newts. I wish I had 3. What about you?
Yeah, same. I've got 2 and I wish I had 3. Thing is, I'm thinking about it. I've got 2 Acrisias and I've got 2 Newts. I probably use the 2 Newts more than I use my Acrisias, so maybe that says something.
Right? I mean, Acrisia is great, but like she doesn't have one ability that can hit as hard as the Blessed Bash because it's a triple hitter. So thus, if you can use a reset plus a Newt, you're better off than Acrisia, basically, you know? And not to mention the turn meter on the A1, but man, I don't believe there's such thing as like a must fuse, but Newt was probably the closest, you know?
Yeah,
like,
man.
looking back.
I agree. Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, obviously you could shout out Trunda, Senna here. It was actually pretty cool as well. But yeah, those 2 are just too good.
Yeah, Senna looks really cool, Amber Heart. Okay, epics. Who you got?
I just got Geo here. Geo's too damn good. Like I think he's the best epic in the game.
Yeah.
Like hands down for me. Just the HP burn alongside the passive. He's a bit like Newt, really. He just destroys bosses. And you know, it's hard to not want that in your team. So he's one of the epics that really stands up, that can rival legendaries, mythicals in certain content.
No, I 100% agree with Geo. Although I will say that Demitha is surprisingly close, you know, for me.
Yeah, Demitha's definitely up there. Yeah,
just very, very good. But I think that, you know, with Wixwell being added to the game, I stopped playing Demitha. You know, like outside of like restrictive content. Whereas Geo is still more difficult to replace in every area of the game. I also love Morag, but there's a few others there. Okay, rares.
Yeah, this is an interesting one, actually. This is an interesting faction.
There's some solid ones here. Do you? I forgot if I were first or you were first, but
I think it's me this time. Yeah, me this time. So I'm gonna go with Master Butcher here.
Okay, I like it.
That's someone that I definitely would use, like, and I have used when I've done like new accounts. So
yeah,
just the chance to provoke. I know on my channel you spoke about Jizzo as a great provoker. Now Master Butcher's kind of the same, so you can bring him in and really do some work on Hydra, Magma Dragon, that type of stuff. But also his passive gives you a really good chance of taking Bommel down with both the healing and then the chance to revive someone when this guy goes down. So I think, I just think like generally he's pretty solid.
No, I agree. I just did a video. It's not even released yet, but I just did a video on him a few days ago. And I also was like, wow, this guy's really solid. Jizzo has the extra turn mechanic, which brings his, like, that's the only difference in terms of the power of the provoke. However, to your point, it's really cool to have the heat exchange. It gives him like that extra viability and the toughest Doom Tower boss there is, right? Especially with Bommel. So good call out there. I'm still such an old school fan and sucker for Kurzad Depart. I really love the double AoEs, both on a 3-turn cooldown. I love the turn meter fill on the A2. I love that he brings the big version of increased accuracy. Hell, I love that he brings the small version of decreased defense, because sometimes you just don't even have it at all. So the small version is better than the big version, or you could throw him in the Nature's Bounty or whatever blessing. So yeah, that would be my favorite there. But there's quite a few other like pretty solid rares here too.
Yeah, Painsmith hits hard and is fun. There's actually quite a few of these which just hit hard.
Yeah.
And can do some work. But yeah, good faction actually.
Shadowkin time, home stretch, my man. Do you have Mikage?
I've got Mikage, yeah.
Okay.
But not Toshiro.
All right. No. Mikage is a beast, huh?
Mikage is brilliant. Yeah, what a great one to put as the fusion, I think.
I agree. All right, Shadowkin legendaries. I guess I'm up first, and I will go with. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna go Yumeko. I'm stealing your cooldown, champ. Listen, there's a lot of amazing legendary Shadowkin. It's almost impossible to choose, but when in doubt, I'm gonna go with freaking Dance of Time ability. Like, I feel like you can't go wrong. She'll be my arena opener. She'll be my reset cooldown everywhere in the game. You know, even if I don't have Seer, I'll still use it. It's still a beneficial ability to have. And then I love the A2. You know, useful against Bommel, useful against the dragon, deflecting basically debuffs back. So I'm gonna go Yumeko.
Yeah, I still don't have her somehow. I just don't know how it's possible, but I don't have her.
Oh, she's evading you, Yumeko.
So annoying.
Well, you got your Kaimar at least, and your Warlords. You've got kind of the the pieces.
Yeah, I've got kind of the same, but
it's kind of the same.
Yeah, so I guess for me.
So who would you go with, Yumeko or no?
Yeah, I mean, if I was going first pick, Yumeko would have been the one to go for. If I'm just picking someone else, I'm going to pick Harima, because Harima is a lot of fun and damn, some crazy damage for a defense-based champ. Also, this ability to just reduce the ignore defense mechanics, which are probably the strongest mechanics in the game for doing damage right now. So you know, also this kind of like demon spawns can't touch me type of vibe going on. There's a lot about Harima, which is really fun.
I agree. I think Harima would have been, she was in strong contention to be one of my other picks. Also, I will call out, it's weird. There's so many good ones here. I think that Rio Bone Spear is one of the most underrated, you know, Void legendaries in the game. I mean, no one really says that Rio's a top Void legendary. I'm curious to see what you think on her, but like, I think she's got the perfect body is like one of the best cleanses in the entire game. Yeah. And then you have the like pressure points, so valuable, right? So like, man, she's so good.
Yeah. So I didn't get her when there was that guaranteed, and I regret it so much. Again, I don't have her.
Okay.
Yeah,
she's good.
She's definitely like up there as one of the most wanted for me for voids.
Okay, Mishinaki is really good too. Ninja, Lady Kimi, Shuzen. There's a lot of good freaking legendaries.
There's a lot of good ones. Yeah,
good God, man. All right, we're moving on to the epics here. I'm gonna go with it's tempting to go with like an Aboro or a damage dealer, but I'm actually gonna go with Frogman Taragi.
Yeah, he's good, man.
There's a lot of good options here in the epic category as well. But man, having the AoE provoke, which really can scale based on debuffs, which can be like one of the more dependable provokes out there on a 3-turn cooldown. He's also the only epic that has the 3-turn ally protect, I want to say. That can't be right. I don't know. But it's one of the only. And the poisons on that passive. It was some like solo content as well. A lot of versatility in this champion. The decreased attack on the A1. He can be a great carry and clan boss as well. I feel like he's useful like almost everywhere, Taragi, you know?
Yeah,
very versatile.
He's got to be one of the best champions you could get early on to just like snowball your clan boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I probably would have picked him myself, I think.
Okay.
So if I'm going somewhere else, then I think Hatatsu is the one I would go for. So AoE decreased attack on the A2. increased defense and heals on the A3 on a 3-turn, which is quite unusual for an epic.
Yep.
And then obviously that leech coming in as well just makes him really solid in most content. And then obviously that spirit touch passive is useful as well. Just kind of if you want to make him stun target or something like that. So yeah,
he's really solid, man. I mean,
he's just one of those all-rounders.
Wow.
Doesn't get talked about a lot, but he's definitely really solid.
All right, rare time. There's not that many here.
Where's the rares?
I know. Gosh, I don't think there's any great choices here. So Odachai has been like the default, or Adachi has been the default for me. He's defense based, so he's fairly tanky. He's got an AoE shield, but it's only on himself, which is stupid. But he does have block debuffs on a 3-turn cooldown. So sure, the weak version of increased defense on the same ability, but like this is really hard to find. Block debuffs on a 3-turn, very hard to find. Like we mentioned, marked, maybe like one other.
Kind of like a mark, actually. Yeah, kind of similar. Yeah.
So I mean, he would be my choice. He's like really solid. Take the 50, work in faction wars. You know.
Yeah, I don't really want to pick any of them, but I guess if I picked one, I guess it would be. Oh man, I don't even know. It's not even that good. I was going to say Vagabond for the kind of like turn me to feel and stuff, but really,
memes.
Yeah, I just
yeah.
Honestly, I can't pick any. Don't build any of these. Is my advice here.
Fair enough. Sylvan Watcher time.
Yeah.
The final faction. Go ahead and lead things off here, man.
Okay. So I don't have any of the mythicals, by the way. Do you have these two?
I have Arbias. I don't have Nias or Naeus, whatever.
You use Arbias?
I think she's really, really good. You know, I don't put her as like the very, very top, like top 3 or something mythical, but she's like one notch below in my opinion. Very good in the arena, but she just like has a pretty good all-around kit too. All right, legendary time.
Yeah, so I've got a few here that I have that I use a decent amount. Or a couple that I use a decent amount, and then I've got a couple which I don't have.
The ones I don't have are glaring on how good they are.
Yeah, that I really would like. So I do not have Feral, and I think I'm going to go with Feral.
Man.
Ah, man, he looks so sweet as well. I really love the design of this guy. So cool.
He's got to be my most wanted. Him or Legate, I don't know. Teox or Feral, who would you rather have? I mean, you have one, you don't have the other one, but
yeah.
Would you trade him in? Would you trade him in for a Feral?
I love Teox too much. But
okay. All right. Those are my two most wanted well, I think, forget it. It's my most wanted legendaries, period, you know?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, this guy's just obviously so solid. Like block buffs, ignoring resistance on the hit as well. He's got perfect Val for your team, so he's great for Hydra. The decreased speed on the A1, but then that passive to basically just push damage on your team.
Yes.
Yeah, man. It's just... At the moment, it's busted, I think, so that you can stack him. I didn't realize this until recently, but yeah, I've seen people stacking 3 of them up.
Yeah, on these speed runs. It's insane. Yeah. It's weird because when you first read this guy's kit, you're like, he seems all right, you know? And you just do not factor in, especially the Perfect Veil is insanely good, obviously, but the Spirit of the North, you just don't factor in how much of an impact that has, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely
crazy.
Would
he be your choice then, or...
Yeah, he's my go. He's my go.
Okay. Yeah. Oh God, man, this is a stacked freaking faction. Holy moly! Glaciat is so good as well, man. This guy. Do you have him?
I don't have him. No.
All right. I don't have him either.
He wasn't on my radar actually, but.
Oh my God, man. Well, he has an increased attack and a perfect veil with a turn meter fill. So basically. No block debuffs, but arguably better in some situations than Duchess's A2. And then he has the revive with the increased accuracy, increased defense, but it will work without the revive. And then if no one was revived, it gives him an extra turn. So we can get back to that A2 or basically do a 3-turn perfect veil, which is really broken. I know a lot of people are telling me that this is like the big debate, right? Is he better than Duchess? Like, did he power creep Duchess basically, right? Even has a little bit of a damage mitigating passive there as well.
Or it's a damage boosting passive, is it?
Yeah. It's deal 10% more damage. And then, yes. So and he's got the same aura. It's a close one.
It's close, yeah. It's slightly different, but actually, yeah, for some reason he was just not on my radar at all. But he looks really cool.
Yeah, I guess Elva you can make a strong case for as well. But I guess I would go with Grand Oak Podrick. Just love that passive so much.
Yeah,
he's just such a good kit, man. Like he's super fast, ally attack. He's got the cleanse and the turn meter boost and the increased speed. Got cooldowns on his A1. I would go Grand Oak.
Yeah, I was actually thinking as well Incensa.
Yeah, I just got her.
You just got her, right? So I don't have her, but
yeah.
Just feeling like that
so good.
Passive is nuts.
Yeah, she's on man, shout out to DeGreer. He's always messaging me with like his world record Hydra teams that he's setting every other day. And she's on all his teams. So I know she's going to be good. That's all I know is that he's like, every time he sends me a screenshot, I'm like, I guess I can't build that team. And now I can. So I'm like, okay, I want to.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I don't have Emic either. That's like my biggest regret, man.
Oh, really? Yeah, I do have him. Yeah, I do use him in a decent amount as well. And Earstrid, actually. I use Earstrid a lot. It's a good faction.
Yes, indeed. Okay, epics.
Okay. Damn, there's some good ones here as well.
Go ahead first. I forgot who is first. I suck at this.
I think I'm gonna go Creodan. Just such a good like epic control champion with those freezes on the A2 and the increased speed and turn meter fill on the A3. The ability to really give you an entry into hard finite if you don't have some of the big go-to champs.
Oh yeah,
both with like wave control, but then also the boss triple hit, chance to freeze as well. So I think, a little bit two-dimensional, but does it really well.
No, I can agree with that, and I agree. Like if you have Cryodan, and congratulations on Fire Knight Hard, because like he was so desperately needed a champion like that, in the game that can really help out from a non-mythical or legendary offering. I would go with. There's quite a few like really good options here. I think that Mist Rider is probably like the obvious, I would say, if you're not gonna go Cryodan, but I'll give a shout to the dude. I really like the dude a lot, man. Dude in the runic, he's got the taunt, he's got the strengthen, but he also brings the strengthen on himself, I should say. But that counterattack for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown really leads him to being one of the better cleansers in the game, because we've got a 60% chance of removing a random debuff from all allies on his A1 ability. And man, there's just been a few areas like Centranos and like beyond Faction Wars that I've been like, if not for Duden, I'd be really screwed here on this stage. So he's grown on me. Then he has like a really nice shield and increased duration of all buffs ability on his A3. So I really like Duden the Runic. He's not the best epic in the game, but I guess I'll give him a call out here. But Mist Rider could have easily been in that conversation as well.
I think it was super fun actually for my free to play this year. Like just spiraling extra turns.
All those extra turn chances. Yeah. Really cool champion. All right. Well, hey, finish things off here with our whatchamacallit, our rares.
Yeah. So I think for me, it's got to be Turlac here, but there's some good rares. I think
interesting.
Turlac, okay. With the speed up on the A2 and an AoE hit, which does a decent amount of damage. He's able to put a veil on all allies, so that he's kind of like hiding them away, enabling him to be like the tank, and then obviously puts a shield on them as well. I just think with the passive going off as well, so decreasing the damage received, he just becomes a really solid defense-based rare that can help you through stuff like Faction Wars and generally help you through the game.
That's an interesting call out there. I liked him in the beginning, but then I won't lie, he kind of dropped off on my account. But for all the reasons that you mentioned, he is solid, right? Especially just as a tank damage mitigator. I think those long cooldowns or whatever, the fact that it's a 4-turn and only a 1-turn veil, it's like, I get it, I understand why it is, but it's just like hard to depend on it, I guess. For me, it's Tree Shield not. I think that he's really good. He's got the increased defense and a heal and a 2 revive. He's the only rare in the game that can revive more than 1 rare, right?
It's like an upgraded Rarity Tender, actually. Yeah, this guy always drops off on my radar, but when I look at his kit again, I'm like, oh damn, I forgot how good he is.
To me, he's the best. Like, it's not even close. The best rare reviver in the game. Like, I mean, he doesn't have the cleanse like Reliquary, of course, but he does have a triple hitter on his A1. So like immediately you can use him for Fire Knight progression as well. And just having that increased defense and the heal and the double revive, like that's really, really solid from a rare, right? So I like Tree Shield. I also like Ingid, this new Twist Staff, this kind of newish one. An AoE leech, and another AoE with increased accuracy. Okay, all right, I guess.
Yeah.
How about Bowsmith? Bowsmith, you ever played around with Bowsmith?
I've not done a lot with Bowsmith.
Okay.
But you can see that this is the newest faction in terms of, like, most of the rares here are pretty decent. Even Lasser, Branch Arm Lasser, the new Void rare is pretty solid as well. Like, the kits here are just a level above.
You're right.
You know, most of the other factions.
Yeah, like an AoE ×2 on a 3-turn. Like they didn't make rares like that, you know?
No, at all.
And the strengthen on all allies. Yeah, I agree with you. So definitely, you could really go with a few of these different rare options here. But hey, man, that's it. We've done everybody here. So
we've done it, man.
Thanks for completing these this Herculean task. But I had a blast doing it, man. Always love having you on the channel. We also had a video about Fateless and Godforge that went live, I think, a day or two ago, if I have my timeline right in my head. And what better time if you missed it to watch the first half of this collab on Hell Hades channel. That, along with the Fateless video, will be linked in the show notes below. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.